You won't believe what just came out in court. For years, Queen Latifah was seen as one of the few clean, drama-free celebrities in the entertainment world. No scandals, no messy news, always calm, respected, and powerful. But recently, something changed. Her name showed up in a lawsuit that shocked the entire industry. And this wasn't just any lawsuit, it was about Diddy. Yes, that Diddy. The one who's now facing serious accusations that have made headlines every single day. Let me tell you, no one saw this coming. Queen Latifah was always seen as someone who stayed away from the chaos, someone who moved differently. But here's the shocking part. While Diddy's empire started falling apart, her name popped up in ways no one expected. People started digging, they started connecting dots, and what they found raised big questions. Why was Queen Latifah so close to Diddy for all these years? Why did she call him her brother from another beautiful mother? What did she really know? This is how it all started. Day 16 of the Diddy trial. Two new witnesses stepped forward. They spoke about things that made everyone sit up. The room went quiet. The words underage girls, hidden cameras, and sexual harassment echoed through the courtroom. And though Diddy denied everything, the damage was already done. The media ran wild. Lawsuits leaked. Footage came out. And suddenly, anyone who had stood next to Diddy was being looked at with suspicion. That's when Queen Latifah's name slipped into the conversation, not as a victim, not as an accuser, but as someone who had stayed very close to him through it all. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Queen Latifah and Diddy weren't just friendly co-stars or music industry colleagues. Their bond went way deeper. Back in 1998, when Diddy threw a huge birthday bash in New York, Queen Latifah was there. Not just as a guest, but as part of his tight circle. Over the years, they were spotted together at major events, BT honors, Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremonies, even charity drives for earthquake victims in Haiti. These weren't casual meetups. They were signs of a friendship that had lasted for decades. But what makes this story different? It's the silence. Queen Latifah, a woman known for her powerful voice and fearless opinions, stayed completely silent while Diddy was being dragged through the mud. No tweets, no statements, nothing. And that silence made people wonder, was she protecting him or was she protecting herself? The craziest part, in a world where stars post every lunch, every hug, every moment, they kept their friendship mostly private. No flashy photos, no bragging, just quiet loyalty. That's not normal in Hollywood. That's not random. That's intentional. So now people are asking, what does she really know? What has she seen? And why hasn't she said a single word? Destiny took an unexpected turn when that 79-page lawsuit surfaced. It didn't just accuse Diddy. It pulled back the curtain on an entire lifestyle. People started whispering about who was really at those parties, about who looked the other way, about who might have helped cover things up. There's no proof that Queen Latifah did anything wrong. But still, people couldn't help but notice how close she stood to the fire and didn't flinch. That calm look, that silence, it felt less like peace and more like a wall hiding something big. Things really started to heat up when one of Diddy's former security guards, an anonymous man referred to only as Mr. X, spoke to investigators behind closed doors. What he said, it changed everything. He didn't just talk about Diddy. He brought up others who were always around, always present, always quiet. And one of those names, once again, was Queen Latifah. Mr. X claimed that at least 3 private parties in Beverly Hills between 2016 and 2019 had a short guest list. Only trusted people, no outsiders, no press. Diddy's people. And Queen Latifah was always invited. At first, no one wanted to believe it. How could she be part of something like that? But when sources dug deeper, more strange details came out. Queen Latifah had reportedly stayed at one of Diddy's Los Angeles properties during a creative retreat in 2018. It sounded innocent. But that same house was later searched by the FBI. And what they found inside wasn't what anyone expected. locked doors, panic rooms, security systems that recorded everything. Now, people weren't just asking if she was there, they were asking why she was there. Online theories started flying. Reddit, Twitter, podcasts, everyone had something to say. Was Queen Latifah just there for business? Or was she part of something she didn't want the world to know about? One podcast even played a now deleted clip from an old interview where she said, laughing, "Diddy knows too much about me. I can't ever cross him." At the time, it seemed like a joke. Now, it didn't sound so funny anymore. Behind the scenes, more layers started peeling back. A former assistant of Diddy, whose identity is still protected under court order, revealed that Diddy used to run what he called invisible circles. These were small groups of industry insiders who knew the truth about what happened behind the mansion doors, but never spoke. They weren't paid to stay quiet. They were loyal, bound by mutual secrets. And guess what? Queen Latifah's name came up again, not as someone being blackmailed, but someone who had her own reasons to stay quiet. Then something very unexpected happened. A woman named Tasha K, yes, the same blogger who broke major stories before, leaked a voicemail. The voice was calm, deep, and unmistakably familiar. It was Queen Latifah. In the message, she spoke directly to Diddy, saying, "We need to get ahead of this. You and me both. We go down together or not at all." No one knew when the voicemail was recorded, but it shook everyone. If it was real, and so far no one has proven it's fake, it meant she wasn't just an observer. She was involved. And still, Queen Latifah said nothing. No press conference, no video, no tweets. That silence, again, began to speak louder than words. Some said she was scared. Some said she was guilty. Others believed she was trying to protect something. Maybe herself, maybe someone close to her. One thing was clear, though. The queen of clean reputation was no longer standing above the mess. She was right in the middle of it. People close to her tried to do damage control. A lawyer friend gave a quiet statement to a blog saying she's not involved in any crimes, she just got caught in the storm. But the problem was, this storm wasn't random. It was pulling in the exact people who always seemed protected, powerful, untouchable. And that's why people kept watching. Because now it wasn't just about Diddy's downfall. It was about who else might fall with him. As the investigation grew louder, Diddy's world started to shrink. Homes were raided, files were collected, and witnesses were talking. But behind those legal headlines, something strange was happening. Queen Latifah had suddenly disappeared from public view. No red carpets, no talk shows, no new posts. For someone who always stayed visible, smiling, strong, and present, it felt like a warning sign. Was she hiding or being told to lay low? One of the biggest breaks came when a private investigator, hired by an unnamed party, leaked a series of travel logs. These weren't just vacation trips, they were hidden flights, private jets. One route stood out, a short flight from Miami to a private island in the Bahamas. That plane belonged to Diddy. But on the passenger list, Dana Owens, Queen Latifah's real name, it didn't say why she went or who else was there, but the dates matched up with a weekend when Diddy was said to be off the grid. People started connecting the dots. Was that island a safe zone? A place where deals were made and secrets were kept? Then came the documents, sealed court papers, supposedly leaked by someone inside the system. These showed that Queen Latifah's name had appeared on what's called a protective list. That's a list the FBI sometimes uses for people who might have valuable information, but also might be at risk. No one could confirm it officially, but two journalists hinted at it during a live panel. One of them said, "Let's just say, the queen may be wearing armor you can't see." The other added, "Or maybe she's a knight pretending to be a queen." While the internet boiled over with theories, something even more surprising happened. An old friend of Queen Latifah's broke her silence. This woman, a producer who once worked closely with her on a TV project, gave a quiet interview under a fake name. Her voice shook as she spoke. She didn't accuse her directly, but she said something that chilled everyone listening. There's a reason some women in this industry last for decades without any scandals, and sometimes it's not luck, it's trade. That word, trade, stuck with people. What did she mean? Trade what? Secrets? Loyalty? Silence? It raised more questions than it answered. Then, in the middle of all this chaos, an old video resurfaced. It was from 2014. Queen Latifah and Diddy sitting on a panel together, joking, laughing. But at one point, when the host asked about trust in the industry, Diddy leaned in and said, "Me and Latifah, we've seen things together, things we'll take to the grave." She smiled, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. Back then, nobody thought twice. Now, the clip had millions of views, with people pausing, zooming in, searching for clues in her face. The silence from her team started to feel louder by the day, but behind that silence, some insiders claimed Queen Latifah was negotiating something, maybe immunity, maybe a deal. There were whispers that she had already sat down with federal agents not once, but twice. No one could say what she told them. But one thing became clearer with every whisper. She wasn't just a side character in Diddy's story. She was part of the main plot. And the biggest twist, it hadn't even dropped yet. Just when the public thought they'd heard the worst, something happened that shook everyone. An unexpected court filing, heavily redacted, was made public. The media rushed in, trying to decode the blacked out lines. But one name wasn't blacked out. Dana Owens, Queen Latifah, and under her name, a word appeared that no one expected to see: informant. The internet caught fire. Some believed it instantly, claiming it confirmed everything. Others said it was fake, a setup, a trick to shift attention from bigger names. But what really made people stop was the sudden shift in Diddy's behavior. He had been loud, cocky, even mocking the system. But after that filing, he went silent. No more videos, no more indirect threats, just silence. Then came the real shock. Queen Latifah appeared at a private federal hearing in New York. No cameras were allowed, but reporters saw her walking into the building in a dark suit, head down, surrounded by agents. She didn't look like a celebrity. She looked like someone about to confess or confirm something huge. Some sources said she wasn't alone, that two other women from the entertainment world were with her, and that the government wasn't just collecting information, they were building a massive case. One that would stretch across music, film, fashion, even politics. After that day, she vanished again. But now, her silence didn't feel like fear. It felt like strategy. She hadn't been arrested. She hadn't been named a criminal. But she also wasn't free in the way people thought. It was as if she was living in a quiet cage, one that protected her from the storm outside, but kept her inside just the same. Diddy, on the other hand, started to lose everything. Endorsements dropped, business partners backed away, lawsuits piled up, and still, he didn't say her name, not once. As if he knew if he did, it would open a door that could never be closed again. Then, finally, in a leaked conversation between two industry lawyers, one said, "She gave them what they needed. She gave them the timeline, the names, the places. Without her, they had rumors. With her, they had proof." That line confirmed it for many. Queen Latifah wasn't a victim. She wasn't just a witness. She was the piece that connected everything. The vault that opened, and maybe the one who decided how far the truth could really go. But the biggest question still echoed in people's minds. Why did she do it? Was it guilt, fear, a deal, or was it something deeper? A need to survive in an industry where silence could kill you and truth was currency? No one had that answer, not yet. And maybe they never would.